perfectly balanced. Except not, because I'm holding the blade. Yeah! Come on, that was cool! Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess, and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever, and today I'm going to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl is a 2003 theatrical release. It's directed by Gore Virbinski, cinematography by Dariusz Wolski, editing by Stephen E. Rivkin, Arthur Schmidt, and Craig Wood, music by Klaus Badelt, and it's written by Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio. The film stars Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swann, Orlando Bloom as Will Turner, Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow, Geoffrey Rush as Barbossa, and Jack Davenport as Commodore Norrington. The film is based off the attraction, as many of you know, and the attraction goes as Will Turner, a prison guard, releases Jack Sparrow to save Elizabeth, who's being held for ransom by Captain Blackheart. Disney went back and forth about whether they wanted this to be a theatrical release or a direct-to-video release. If it was theatrical, they wanted Matthew McConaughey. If it was direct-to-video, they wanted Christopher Walken or Cary Elwes. Stuart Beattie was brought in to rewrite because of his knowledge of piracy. And Jerry Bruckheimer was asked multiple times if he wanted to be a part of it, and he kept refusing until Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio kind of came in and brought in the supernatural aspect that's mentioned at the beginning of the ride, because it was just a straight pirate movie, but then Ted and Terry brought in the supernatural element, which interested Jerry Bruckheimer, so he did sign on. And then Jim Carrey was considered for Captain Jack, and Michael Keaton was even considered before they ultimately ended up with Johnny Depp. Gore Verbinski wanted to go the historical fiction route versus a romanticized pirate route. There were a lot of makeup, sets, prosthetics, contacts used / built. A fire happened in September of 2002, which caused $525,000 in damages, but no one was injured. Thank goodness. It obviously put filming off for a little bit. They filmed in St. Vincent, where they built 3 piers in order to serve as Port Royal and Tortuga. They also built 3 ships, the Black Pearl, the Dauntless, and the Interceptor. The Black Pearl and Dauntless were built on docks in order, for computer-generated imagery, and then the Black Pearl was also partially built on a soundstage to control fog and lighting. They only spent 6 days on the open sea, which is kind of exciting. They started filming principal photography the 6th of October in 2002 and finished the 3rd of March 2003, which is actually kind of long. Johnny Depp was hit in the knee when a piece of the Interceptor broke off. In the movie, it looks like he's ducking, but he's actually hit in the knee. And they kept it in the movie, obviously. And then another thing that was kept in the movie is his little ship that he comes into Port Royal on sinking. Was an accident, but they decided to keep it in the movie because it was funny. The skeletons took the most time with the visual effects, which makes total sense. They had to film the scene with the actors, film the scene without the actors, and then film the scene with the actors on a motion capture stage again. So there's a lot that went into it. They wrapped filming 4 months before the movie was supposed to be released, so Virbinski spent 18 hours a day with the editors in order to finish the movie. Also, Hans Zimmer was the music producer, but Klaus Badelt was the composer. It really makes me mad when people are like, Hans Zimmer composed the Pirates theme. No, Klaus Badelt has always been the composer of the first movie, so. The film had a $140 million budget and made $654.3 million in the box office, has an 80% Rotten Tomatoes. Critics thought it was going to be bad, but people loved it. They thought it was fun. They had a great time. Roger Ebert couldn't say enough nice things about Johnny Depp as Captain Jack. The film was nominated for Best Actor, Best Makeup, Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects. It has 4 sequels, as many of you know. We've got On Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, On Stranger Tides, and Dead Men Tell No Tales. There was potentially supposed to be a 6th film, but then obviously the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing happened, so I have no idea if there's going to be a 6th movie. I think it is a thing that's happening. We'll see. Super exciting things. I've only seen 4 of them. I have not seen Dead Men Tell No Tales. I think everybody came together to make this as good as it is, but Gore Verbinski created a seamless vision. It is effortlessly cohesive. It is through and through, detailed to a T. Everything fits perfectly together. The performances are fantastic. The editing, the visual effects, the story itself all comes together in such a charming way, and every performance is so incredible. I think Gore did a fantastic job, and he also obviously helmed what became an incredibly successful franchise. I mean, still technically incredibly successful. And obviously he wasn't alone, but I think I don't think if you just had the good writing, it wouldn't have been successful. If you just had Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, it wouldn't have been successful. It had to be all of them coming together under a fearless leader, which was Gore Verbinski. This was a huge undertaking, and they did that. Visually, come on. Stunning. So gorgeous. The fog, the nighttime lighting, the flame lighting, just the color correction, the movement. Everything about this is visually stunning. They used the camera every way they could. They used visual effects to facilitate the camera. The camera truly helps tell the story. The Pearl versus the Interceptor fight and then the cave fight are both peak editing. Not because they're like quick cutting during the action, because of how many storylines and people we have to follow during these action sequences, and they make it effortless. For instance, during the Pearl versus the Interceptor, you've got Jack breaking out of the jail, Barbossa fighting for the medallion, Will trying not to drown, Elizabeth shooting people and realizing what's going on. All of that's happening during the same fight, all while they're like shooting at each other, figuring everything out. And you have to pace this in such a way that people can follow each storyline, not lose one in the mess, but also understand that there's a fight going on and make it happen quickly so it's not like dragging and boring in an action sequence. So well done. Then the cave fight, you've got the skeletons going to steal the Interceptor, the Commodore Norrington and his folks trying to go in, like ambush them. You got Barbossa, Jack, Will, and Elizabeth fighting inside. You've got so many things happening at once. You've got the dad, Elizabeth's dad, fighting the stupid little skeleton hand. Like, you've got so much going on, each storyline, and it's just so well edited. My biggest complaint about this movie actually also has to do with the edit. So, please don't forget I just raved about the editing. So well done. There is a small section of this movie where I finally went, ooh, yo, this movie's long. It's a little too long. And it was immediately, it's a double hump plot. The second that Jack, Elizabeth, and Will are caught, and they're gonna set Jack and Elizabeth free at the island, and they're pushing them overboard, the movie came to a screeching halt. It had been like building. This is my opinion. Building. Screeching halt when they throw Elizabeth and Jack over. It was like it was climbing, it was going to be this big moment, and then all of a sudden, okay, we're going back into a thing, and then it's going to true climax and be great. And whatever. Not necessarily bad. Obviously, the movie's still great. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, okay, now it's long. I was like super hype, I was super attached, I was super into it. Ooh, now it's long. Which is hilarious because there were kind of a lot of parts of this that I was like, oh, I thought this was in the sequel. Oh, I thought this was in one of the other ones. This is in this one? Oh. So it just goes to show this movie's nice and long. It's like almost, I think it's like 2.5 hours. So I think everyone knows the music for this is iconic. Everyone knows the Pirates theme. You know, everybody knows that theme, or the slower one, the bum 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 bum. Like, we all know the themes. I want to say, yes, of course, those are great. They're iconic for a reason. The use of the music to help the story in this is so good. Right at the beginning, like, this is one of my favorite music moments. Right at the beginning, it's kind of quiet. Elizabeth is, looking out. scene whatever, she sees a piece of debris. And it's the second she sees Will in the water, the music starts to build a little bit. And it just is so rich. And it's so good. It's such like a small little moment, but I love it so much. It's so good. And the music continues to be like that throughout the movie. It is so perfectly placed and used. The setup, the introduction of the characters, and the fun. This movie is downright fun. From front to back, they revitalized a pirate craze. This movie set out to be like a fun, supernatural pirate story, and it more than succeeded. The characters are lovable, memorable. You are rooting for all of them. You love every single one. Even the villains. You can't help but love Barbossa. He's so good. And you love Commodore Norrington, even though Homeboy's a little bit of a stick up his butt. You just love everybody. They're just so rich and fun, and it's just a good time. The setup, everything is so good. I really love it. Obviously, I said it's a double hump plot, so there's a little bit of that drag there, but really, it's not that big of a deal. Everything else outshines it so much that you kind of get over that there's a little bit of a long moment. Johnny, obviously, is Jack Sparrow. There's no other option. I know they wanted Matthew McConaughey or someone else or whatever, but no one else could be this Captain Jack Sparrow. He is by far and away just Jack. He has the charisma. He just has that quality. He truly is Captain Jack Sparrow. Also, Orlando and Keira's chemistry, off the charts, insane. The only reason their love story works with as little development as there is for them is because of their chemistry. It jumps off the screen. You are desperate for them to get together because of how much chemistry they have. Truly, I wouldn't care about their romance at all if they didn't have chemistry, because it is barely developed. They meet when they're children, and then they have like one interaction when he's dropping off the sword for her dad. And you're like, oh, okay, so he has a big fat crush on her, and I think she likes him too. Especially when she gives his name instead of hers, It just... There's no real development for them until, like, they have moments alone or whatever, and that's not even true development. It's just like, oh yeah, we like each other, kinda. The only reason it's as successful as it is and people root for it is because Keira and Orlando's chemistry is insane. We need to talk about the CG. Holy heck, okay? This is 2003. I feel like we have leaped light years in the CG department in just like a year or two. It holds up, period. It holds up to today. Could it be more believable or better? 100%. Does it have to be? No, it's believable enough. It looks so good still, and it's 2003. This is almost 20 full years ago. I'm genuinely impressed and happy for them, and I understand why it took so long. Also, the sets are breathtaking. Port Royal, Tortuga, the ships, also fun. So happy those were practical. I know they did CG versions as well, but the practical for them to stand on and stuff, amazing. I love to see it. Both of those things had to be shouted out because they were both just impeccably done. I love this movie. I loved this movie when I was a kid. I think I might have seen this in theaters. If not, I definitely vividly remember seeing Dead Man's Chest in theaters. I feel like I saw this in theaters though, or maybe we watched it in the living room here actually. I do have a memory of doing that. I just remember being like really like glued to the screen, like, wow, this is crazy. Big fat crush on Orlando Bloom when I was young. Makes sense, He's Will Turner, Legolas, right there on my screen. I also had a crush on Jack Sparrow, which is kind of cool. It's been a minute though. I have watched it since I was a child. It's pretty popular. But it's been a hot minute since I sat down and watched it from beginning to end. So that was super fun. I do remember as a kid thinking it was weird that Norrington wanted to marry Elizabeth when he was, like, he had been an adult when she was a kid, and then now she's an adult and he wants to marry her. I remember as a kid being like, that is weird, right? Like, no one else think that's weird? Like, he's old, right? Like, that's not okay. Like, he's just been, like, waiting for her to come of age. Like, and I think, obviously, now as an adult, that's the purpose. It's supposed to be like, that's kind of icky. She should be with someone age-appropriate who was a child when she was a child and is now an adult when she's an adult. So I think that's, you know, that's the whole point. But when I was a kid, I didn't get that was the point. I just sat there like, this is uncomfortable. Why would he want to marry her? She was a child 2 seconds ago. So now it's nice to have that understanding. This movie is long, but it is fun. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I do enjoy this very much. This got me, it like stoked the fire. I haven't seen this in a while. I haven't seen any of them in a while. It stoked the fire, so I'm kind of excited to get to the future ones, especially Dead Men Tell No Tales, because I haven't seen that one. And I've only seen On Stranger Tides once in theaters in California, I think, when I lived there, so I don't even know. But I am intrigued to continue because these are fun. So I'm excited to see this. I haven't seen the sequels nearly as much as I've seen the first one, so I am excited to revisit those. That's everything I have for the Pirates of the Caribbean and Curse of the Black Pearl. So good, guys. It's so good. Come on. Highly recommend. My final rating is 9 little... Oh, no, I've done that before. So 9 Have I done monkeys before? 9 monkeys out of 10? Our total movie count is... Our parent death toll is... Crowd count's still the same. If you want to keep up with the movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram, Twitter. You'll find out what movie I'm watching when. I put up videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. Buy merch. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe, and I'm going to search if you love you are, so you do, and don't be Barbosa about it. Also, there is a post-credit scene where the monkey takes a doubloon out of the chest, which I had never seen before, which totally clues me into how they set up for a sequel. Because before I was like, how did Barbosa come back? But, I think he comes back with, like, Davy Jones or something. I don't remember. But